Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into something really important today?
Absolutely.
We're talking about how to help kids when they're dealing with loss.
Hmm.
It's something that everyone faces at some point, right?
Yeah.
And it can be really tough to navigate, especially for kids.
Right, right.
So that's what we're doing today. We're diving into this guide that we found. It's all about giving us, the adults some tools to help kids through these tough times.
Well,
Okay, so this guide we found, it's actually pretty straightforward.
okay.
It breaks down the whole process of supporting grieving kids into 5 main tips.
5.
Five, yep,
Okay.
5 tips, which I find that really helpful.
Yeah, no, 5 is definitely
It
manageable.
feels doable, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's good because it reminds us that there really isn't one magic solution that works for every kid, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Grief is a very personal thing. How a child handles it depends on so many things like their age,
Oh, for sure.
your personality,
Yeah.
what they've already been through in life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, trying to explain, like, death to a 5-year-old is completely different from talking about it with a teenager.
Exactly. And that's where this first tip comes in. Honesty.
Okay.
Being truthful with kids about what's going on. But here's the key. We have to make sure we're being honest in a way they can actually understand.
Right.
We want to avoid using those euphemisms that honestly might just confuse them more than help.
Yeah, totally. Like saying something like grandma's gone to sleep versus just saying grandma died. One is just way more direct.
It is. And children, they need that directness.
Yeah.
Okay, tip number 2 is all about letting those emotions flow.
Okay.
Encouraging kids to express what they're feeling. And this is important.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be with words. Some kids aren't ready to just talk about their feelings.
Right. And that's where, like, the guide talks about things like drawing or writing as outlets for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like giving them a different language to express their grief. And you know what?
But,
For us, adults, seeing their drawings or reading their stories, it gives us a window into what they're going through, what
Yeah.
they're feeling.
right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And think about it this way. Imagine trying to keep all those complicated feelings all bottled up inside. Eventually, it's all going to come spilling out, right? That's why art and writing can be so powerful.
Okay, so tip number 3.
Hmm.
This one is routine.
Yes, routine.
It sounds kind of, I don't know, basic maybe at first,
I can see that.
but it's so important.
It really is.
Like, when a child is grieving, when they've gone through a loss, their whole world feels turned upside down.
Totally.
But routines, familiar routines, they stay the same,
Right.
which is so important. They
Yeah.
give a sense of security.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For a child, a routine can be like a map.
Mm.
It helps them know what to expect, even when everything else feels uncertain. It gives them a sense of safety and control in a time when they probably feel like they don't have much control over anything at all.
That is such a good point.
Yeah.
It's like that idea of a safe space, but it's a safe space that's created by time,
There
you
go.
know?
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to tip number 4. And this one is about validation.
Okay.
It's about really letting a child know that their feelings are okay, whatever they are,
Mm.
and that there isn't a right or a wrong way to grieve.
So important. We can't rush them. We can't try to fix their sadness.
Yeah.
It's natural to want to, but grief just doesn't work that way.
It doesn't. And it's hard because as adults, we want to fix things.
We do. It's instinct.
Yeah.
But sometimes the best thing we can do is simply acknowledge what they're feeling.
Just be there.
Be present. Let them know you see their pain, that you hear their sadness, and that it's okay to feel those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead of don't cry, we can say something like, it's okay to feel sad. Let it out. I'm here for you.
That's so much better. And it probably means so much more to them. It
Let's
does.
be honest.
It is. Okay. And the 5th and final tip is about knowing when to ask for help.
Yes.
Like, when is it time to bring in the professionals?
Absolutely.
And this doesn't mean that we've failed or that we're not doing enough.
Not at all.
It's just acknowledging that sometimes a child needs extra support.
Right. Like imagine you're trying to fix something, like say your sink is leaking, and you've tried everything you can think of to fix it yourself, but the leak just keeps getting worse.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to call in a plumber, an expert.
Yeah.
And it's the same with grief. Sometimes a child needs a little extra help from someone who understands these things deeply, and that's okay.
That makes sense.
It's a sign of strength, not weakness, to recognize when you need an extra hand.
It's about doing what's best for the child in the long run. Wow, so this has been, I don't know about you, but I found this incredibly helpful.
I have too. It's such an important topic.
It is, and it's ongoing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like this is something you deal with one time and then you're done.
Right.
So as you navigate these conversations and as you're supporting children in your life through loss, remember that creating that safe space for open and honest dialogue is so important. And that's something to really think about. How can you, in your own way, with the children in your life, create that space?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question to think about.
And you're not alone in this.
You're definitely not alone.
We're all in this together. We're all learning and growing together.
That's right.
And hopefully this deep dive has given you some tools to help you along the way.
I hope so too.
Thanks for diving in with us today. We'll catch you next time.